What's up, everyone? How's it going? Oh boy, it's a lot better than Friday, is it not? What a game! What a game tonight! What a finish! What an exciting finish! Their Golden One Center obviously didn't have to be an exciting finish, but sometimes you need a little need your heart rate to be going on a Sunday night. So obviously the Kings could have made this one a little bit easier tonight, but nonetheless they pull through with the victory, 132-127 over former rivals, I guess I could say, in the Los Angeles Lakers. But if you were today here in the building in Golden One Center, you wouldn't know that this is a rivalry that hasn't really had a spark in a long time, because in typical Laker fan fashion, it was they showed up tonight. I got to give them the credit. There was a good helping of Laker fans in the building, as there's a ton standing in front of me right now. Every time the Kings and the Lakers meet up here in Sacramento, there's going to be a good helping of Laker fans. Same as when the Warriors are in town, there's going to be a good helping of Warrior fans. I'd say 30%, maybe 35%. They were loud, though. They were definitely loud. There were some clutch free throws down the stretch where you could hear some Laker fans giving some noise. And I think it was in the fourth quarter, they got a "Let's Go Lakers" chant that eventually did get drowned out by the Golden One Center crowd. But the cheer that we all heard tonight was "Light the Beam." And that's the most important thing, is that the Kings were able to pull through with the victory in this one, despite the biggest story of today, of course, being that De'Aaron Fox. We still haven't heard much about his injury, but he goes down in that fourth quarter. It was deathly silent when he was down, and then the ensuing timeout happens. You don't know what happens. I looked at the replay, as I'm assuming everyone at home also got to see. You saw De'Aaron twist his ankle pretty severely on that drive, and it's what's going to happen. Like you're when De'Aaron injuries happen, and you got to play through them. But when you're being relied on the way that De'Aaron Fox is, you're going to have wear and tear on your body throughout the year. And obviously ankles aren't a fun thing to deal with. It's kind of one of those nagging injuries that just kind of persists until you give it some time to really rest. So it'll be interesting to see how the Kings are going to pursue De'Aaron Fox and his recovery from that ankle. He obviously was able to return in that fourth quarter, also played in that overtime for a couple minutes as well before being subbed out for what I assume. Again, I wasn't able to get a full grasp of it from where I'm sitting, but it didn't seem like De'Aaron was on the bench to end that game, so I assume he went back into the locker room to get further evaluated on that ankle. But he was moving. I mean, he after he came back in from the ankle injury, I personally couldn't tell that he seemed hampered at all. Maybe it was more evident on TV, but from here, I saw him close out on a corner three about as hard as you can. Massive jump there. He attacked the rim. I think he attacked LeBron and AD and was able to draw a foul. I believe it might have been even an and one. So it's one of those where we'll have to see the severity. Who knows how much of it was De'Aaron was kind of playing off of adrenaline, and maybe that's why we saw him subbed out. Is once the adrenaline started to wear off, and once he started to really feel the pain of that ankle, maybe it was just too much for him and they had to sub him out. But the good news is they didn't have to have him like they did on Friday night against Golden State. We saw De'Aaron take over that fourth quarter, dropped 22 points in that fourth quarter on Friday. Tonight, I believe he had, how much did he have in that fourth quarter tonight? 13, if I'm not mistaken, in the fourth quarter tonight on a bum ankle. Love to see that. Is that correct? Yeah. So, it was a really good performance from De'Aaron, even with that busted ankle. We'll have to see, wait for an update on that one. But of course, hoping for the best on that. And it was good to see guys step up in that fourth quarter and in that overtime, especially Malik Monk. Malik finished with, how much did he finish with in that final Sorry, as I like to look through my box scores. But Malik with had 9 points in that overtime period. Kevin Herter, shout out Kevin Herter, man, who it's been well documented. Kevin Herter's struggles so far throughout this season, including this preseason, hasn't really been able to knock down the perimeter jumper. But tonight, varying success. He finishes 3 of 7 from 3, but hit the most important one of the day. You saw the relief in his face. He threw up his hands after he hit it. So that was good to see. But also, Herter grabbed a couple really important, really big rebounds in that overtime over Anthony Davis. They were strong rebounds, and that's not really a part of Herter's game. So it was really good to see Herter be able to pick up those big boards and then knock down that 3 to really seal this one, because without him and without Malik in that overtime, I don't know if the Kings would have the necessary firepower to pull this one out. So shout out Kevin Herter, who, you just got to put your nose down, put your head down, be a professional. And Kevin Herter definitely did that tonight and was able to come up in the biggest moment, and you love to see it. I also want to talk about that fourth quarter final shot from Keegan Murray. I thought it was a really well drawn up play. I think they were exploiting the fact that they knew that LeBron is obviously in year 21, a little bit older, not necessarily someone who's going to move a ton on the defensive end of the floor. They got LeBron into a pick and roll, had Keegan squeeze all the way out there on the perimeter, and he had about as good of a look as you can hope for a final shot of the game. So I had no problem with what they drew up. I thought he got a good shot. It's just you got to knock those down, and it was good to see them also put faith in Keegan for a moment like that. Like, that's typically a shot that you would reserve for your most trusted members of your team. And, a lot of the time, obviously, that play is going to go to De'Aaron Fox or Malik Monk. So I definitely think it's interesting and a great sign in Keegan's development that Mike Brown's trusting him with that 3 with the game on the line. So shout out Keegan for taking the shot, and shout out Mike Brown or I assume it was actually probably Jay Triano for drawing that play up and getting them open. More positives from tonight, as we're going to try and keep it as positive as possible. I thought Harrison Barnes' defense was really good tonight. The offense was here and there. Definitely had a better first half than the second half, but he was tasked with guarding LeBron all night long. Oh, excuse me. Excuse me. But yeah, Harrison Barnes was tasked with guarding LeBron all night long. I thought he did a good job. LeBron is just, it's just interesting to watch him play at this point in his career, because it feels like he's still able to kind of get to his spot when he needs to, but he's just got to pick and choose those spots a lot more selectively nowadays. And so, it was very clear that the Kings had no answer for LeBron. But I thought HB did the best that he really could. And this is really more, of symptom of the fact that the Kings, again, don't really have many of those long wing players on their roster even to have at his disposal. The Lakers, Alan, my co-host Alan Stiles, was sitting next to me and joked, like, the Lakers legitimately have Gabe Vincent, D'Angelo Russell, and then the rest are just wings and big men. And the Kings are not built like that at all. So I thought it was good that the Kings were able to kind of deal with the Lakers' length. Last year, teams like Minnesota, teams like the Lakers, teams like Orlando gave the Kings absolute fits, because they're full of those 6'7" to 6'9" guys with 7-foot wingspans that just muck up the paint. And the Kings did a great job getting into the paint tonight. They destroyed the Lakers for a majority of this game inside the paint. They win the paint battle 56-44 tonight. The one battle the Kings didn't win, and I was afraid for a while it was going to be the reason why the Kings were going to lose this game, was the free throw battle. The Lakers, especially in that first half, were able to get to the line whenever they wanted. They end the game with a 34-24 free throw disparity. But if I'm not mistaken, at the end of the first half, that free throw disparity was 23-5. So the Lakers were just doing a great job. I mean, when again that more is a symptom of the Lakers' length. It's just really hard for when they did get bodies in the paint, when they were able to get AD established in the low post, when LeBron was driving. Kings really, really struggled to defend without fouling, and we've seen that be a problem for them early in this season so far. Is just being able to defend without fouling is tough for this team right now, and I think it's because Mike Brown is trying to get them to play more physical, but that definitely is going to have its drawbacks. And the big drawback tonight was, yes, the free throws, but also the fact that your stars were just in the worst kind of foul trouble. It's good that the Kings were able to again, to try and keep this as positive as possible. It's really positive and good that the Kings were able to fight through the foul trouble. I mean, I mean, if I were to tell you that going into that fourth quarter, De'Aaron Fox, Domantas Sabonis, Keegan Murray, and Davion Mitchell all had 4+ fouls, and Sabonis would later foul out in that fourth quarter, I think a lot of people would guess that the Kings would lose a close game with those circumstances. So really big that they were able to kind of come up from that adversity and really not have it shake them at all, because that's going to be something that I think we saw a lot last year, more so Sabonis ending up in foul trouble. But if the Kings are going to have their primary scorers out, it's really good that their depth is able to step up in the way that it did tonight. But obviously, you want to try and stay out of foul trouble as much as possible. And the Kings just had a really rough time, especially with their main guys, keeping them out of foul trouble. They were able to get Anthony Davis in some foul trouble by the end of the day. He finished with 5 fouls. But, of course, it didn't really impact his game, as AD tonight was just – he's a problem. Like, he is something that the Kings are going to have to try and figure out, not just because, obviously, the Lakers are in the Kings division, but it's more of a symptom of what could be a bigger problem, is the Kings really are going to have a trouble with those longer, bigger centers. Like, they don't, when you run Sabonis out there at center, you're going to have issues defending guys like Nikola Jokic, like Giannis Antetokounmpo and Brook Lopez and all the bigs out there. Joel Embiid, obviously, you're just going to really struggle with these bigger centers against Domantas Sabonis, and we saw the Kings try and throw JaVale McGee out there again. This is the second straight game. I just have not loved JaVale McGee's minutes. He was a +4 tonight, so they were able to win his minutes, but when he was out on the floor. But I'm incredibly unimpressed with the play of JaVale McGee, and I'm really intrigued to see that when Trey Lyles comes back from his calf injury, if he's going to play some backup center, because we saw tonight, I don't know if anybody noticed, but when Sabonis fouled out of the game, they did not go big. They did not throw JaVale McGee. They did not throw Alex Len out there. They threw Sasha Vezenkov out there at center for the last moments of this game. And that's obviously not going big. That's going small and trying to get the small ball advantage and pull their big men out from the paint. And I think it was a good idea, because we saw the Kings have success with that last year against the Timberwolves. If you're able to pull a defender like Anthony Davis out from the paint and make him guard Sasha Vezenkov or Trey Lyles or even Keegan Murray. Keegan Murray and Harrison Barnes ended the game at center position. So I thought that was really, really interesting from Mike Brown. And I personally really co-sign that idea, especially again when you just don't have the personnel to match up with a guy like AD. It's not like you can throw someone out there and say, okay, he's AD's size and strength and speed, he should be able to slow him down. Just try and do the complete opposite, really, and try and get a real mismatch on him, because even if you throw JaVale or Sabonis out there, you clearly can't stop him. He had 30 points, 16 boards. The guys that you have can't stop him. So if you're going to already be giving up those points, you might as well be getting something on the other end. That's how I view it. And I think that's how Mike Brown's going to view it as well. So I'm really intrigued to see, again, when Trey Lyles enters the lineup again, where are his minutes coming from? Is it going to come out of Sasha Vezenkov's minutes, who Sasha played really well tonight, really is continuing to show his ability as a cutter to make an impact, had some really, really nice cuts into the paint, and it's going to be a matter of teammates figuring out that he's going to do that every time. I think people are surprised when he's there and kind of laser passes into him when he's cutting, because they're not expecting him to be there. I think just the more and more that he plays on this team and they get familiar with his game, you'll just see that cutting ability be really weaponized for this team. And he was able to knock down a couple perimeter shots, had a couple really open ones, open looks as well that I thought he could have knocked down. So definitely see some really big potential for Sasha if things go well in this lineup. And his defense continues to be very passable, very serviceable, is not by any means an absolute liability on the defensive end, which I think was the big fear with him coming into this season. So good for Sasha to show that he's able to stay on the floor defensively, because his offense, especially on a night like tonight where the Kings in that second quarter went ice cold, second and third quarter again for the Kings were not great. After putting up 41 in that first quarter, only combined for 46 the next two quarters. So obviously, it's going to be tough to keep up that ridiculous of a scoring pace, but to have that big of a drop off was massive, because the Kings quite literally went from 7 threes in the first quarter, hitting 2 in the second, 2 in the third, and then kind of started to wake up more so in the fourth. But you just kind of want to see them be able to knock down more shots, because obviously, as we saw last season, this team's biggest strength is their offense, and a big part of their defense, or I guess lack thereof defense, is the fact that teams have to try and come from behind or try and keep pace with the Kings offense, and sometimes that can lead to some wayward offense on the other side. So definitely want to see the Kings have one performance where it just feels like they're knocking everything down. Ken shot 70% from the free throw line today. That's just absolutely terrible. Can't have that. Let's go into the chat here. Sorry, I've been rambling now for 15 freaking minutes. So let's go into the chat here. See what y'all say about tonight's game. Absolutely. Shout out De'Aaron Fox for playing through the pain. It was scary. I don't know about y'all, but there was definitely a moment there where I was doing some math and I was like, okay, bad ankle. How much time do people usually miss with ankles? How much has De'Aaron missed in the past? Oh my gosh, I just remembered De'Aaron had that grade 3 ankle sprain a couple years back. So that it was great to see him enter the floor again. I don't think that's a guarantee that De'Aaron's just going to miss no time and there's nothing to worry about. Definitely am concerned at the fact that he was able that they ended up pulling him. But of course, obviously doing this live stream, I'm not there to hear what Mike Brown's update on De'Aaron, but I would assume we'd be hearing something by the end of tonight, if not early tomorrow, on De'Aaron's status. The good news is the Kings don't play again until Wednesday in Golden State, so he's going to have some time to recover, and hopefully, obviously, we're wishing the best for De'Aaron in that ankle, because he has been just sensational these past 2 games. 39 on Friday against Golden State, 37 tonight against the Lakers on a bum ankle. He's incredible. I mean, I was looking at the top scorers in the NBA so far. Obviously, it's only been like 2 or 3 games for most teams, but with his 37 piece tonight, De'Aaron's going to be top 5 in the league in scoring after tonight. So he has just been out of this world to start this season, and he really looks unguardable. There are moments where you can tell his speed is just too much. His ball handling is incredible. His ability to just create space is really, really special, and it's going to be a really fun season if De'Aaron can stay healthy, because it's become incredibly evident through just 3 games that I think he's on a different level. I really do think he is taking another leap. And it's great to see. Obviously, defensively, he's really stepped it up as well. Kevin was huge today. Absolutely. Again, Kevin Huerter knocking down the big 3. Did he knock down 3 today? He did. 3 of 7 from the perimeter. So that was great to see from Kev. I think he'd only hit 1 3 so far this season. So that was great to see. And then again, the 2 really, really big rebounds in overtime. I was shocked to see Kevin Huerter grab those rebounds. But that's the kind of thing where when people are going to say throughout this year, or have been saying already, like, get Kevin out, like get him, he doesn't need to play. It's moments like that where you have to remember this guy's not Buddy Hield. He's not, just some role player. He's a really good basketball player and understands, even when he's not hitting his shot like how he wants to, you can still go out there and impact the game. It shouldn't take away from everything you do. Kevin knows that he's going to have to bring it defensively. He was better tonight than what he's been in the past couple games. And maybe that's because he did hit a couple shots tonight, but it was really good to see him grab those clutch boards and, of course, hit that clutch three and get to see his celebration because, no one, Kevin Herter is the most aware of his struggles right now. So shout out Kevin Herter. I would die for De'Aaron Fox. I definitely, for a moment, was like, who's going to give up their ankle? Who in this crowd of how many were in the building tonight? 18,198 people in the building. Who was going to offer up their ankle if De'Aaron's ankle was just not going to work anymore? I was wondering who was going to walk down into the tunnel and just say, you can have mine. So absolutely share the sentiment. Would die for that, man. Let's see here. Oh my God. I've never heard this. You've been listening to our guy Mark Jones too much. Clearly, Fox's triple pivot against AD in the first half was so sweet it gave me diabetes. Yes, absolutely. That is comment of the night already. Good job, Earl. Shout out, Earl. You definitely win comment of the night because that pivot was NSFW, not safe for work. Cover the kid's eyes. I don't know if that can be shown. I don't know if that's legal to show in the state of California. Honestly, it was incredible. Just a great move from De'Aaron. I mean, AD was a monster in that first quarter. So you knew in smart on De'Aaron to know AD's looking to block everything in sight. So it was really good for him to kind of give him a little counter and tell him like you're not just going to be able to be a jumping jelly bean tonight and get everything. You're going to have to really time it. We're not just going to serve it up on a platter. So that move was so sick. Kept his foot down too. It was a legitimate pivot and didn't travel at all and completely got AD up in the air and made him look a fool. I'm honestly surprised AD didn't go down with an injury or something because he crossed him up. Let's see here. Sasha was very, very nice today. Yes, Russell, absolutely. This is what I was just getting at. Herter figured it out. Figuring out how to play rugged when his shot isn't falling is huge because Kevin is a shooter, and we've had Kevin Herter for a full season. We've seen what it looks like, and there's ups and there's big ups, like major ups. We cannot forget about the Utah shot in the first 2 months of last season when Herter was shooting 55% from three. He has some ups, but which his value is clear and obvious when he's shooting the ball well. But when he's not shooting the ball well, is he able to get to the line? Is he still able to hit some twos? Is he able to drive the lane? I saw him drive the lane earlier today. And is he able to rebound? You got to be a basketball player. You can't just be a shooter. You can't just be a DH where you're only playing offense. You're going to be out there. What Kevin played 36 minutes tonight, which is by far the most he's played this season. You can't just only play one side of the ball. So shout out Kevin for just being better at that because we can't also forget Kevin's pretty young guy in his career too. And he's still developing and he's still learning on the fly. And he's got to learn that, when you're not knocking down your shot, you still got to be able to provide some impact. Let's see here, man, Torian Prince. This Earl, man, would you like to co-host this post-game show? Because you're spot on right now. I had the same thought. Torian Prince tonight. Apparently, it's AD1, Torian Prince 2, LeBron James 3, Austin Rivers 4 in terms of the Lakers shooting pecking order. Because Torian Prince was putting it up tonight, and it was like the Lakers were setting him up for it. I had no idea. I remember when they signed Torian Prince, they were really excited about it. Laker fans were really excited about it. I was like, okay, that's cool. Like, Torian's all right. Like, I'm not saying he's bad or nothing, but he's a 3-and-D guy. He's like a Jay Crowder. Nothing bad. Every team would love to have it, but let's not get too excited about it. But they were right because Torian Prince, he's had a couple games where he's been able to knock down some shots, but he took 13 threes tonight, scored 20 points. But I just couldn't believe how much the Lakers were feeding him and just okay with possessions ending with Taurean Prince shots. The Kings did catch a break tonight because Austin Reeves was garbage. He couldn't hit a shot. And when we talk about Kevin Huerter and his quiet nights that he's had so far, let's look at Austin Reeves tonight. 5 points, 2 assists, 2 rebounds, 2 fouls in 27 minutes. That's bad. That's what, like, I don't even know if Kevin Huerter has had a game that bad this year. That's just not contributing at all. In 27 minutes, Austin Reeves was 1 of 12 from the field, 1 of 5, or I'm sorry, 1 of 8 from 3. He couldn't hit anything. So the Kings definitely got lucky that Reeves wasn't able to make his shot, because who knows, if he makes his shot tonight, maybe it doesn't go the Kings' way. Actually, I would almost say it definitely doesn't go the Kings' way. So, sometimes you rather be lucky than good. And Austin Reeves definitely was working for the Kings tonight. Yeah, I agree with Tay. Frankly, I said it up top, but this game shouldn't have been that close. It really shouldn't have. Definitely foul trouble played a big problem in it. The Kings were kind of forced to play some lineups. I don't think they wanted to play with De'Aaron, Domas, and Keegan all out. They usually like to keep at least one of those guys out on the floor. So with them in foul trouble, they kind of had to go to a Davion, Huerter, Monk, who else was it? It was Herder. Point is, they had to go to a lineup without those 3 guys. And when you don't have when you don't have any of your 3 most important offensive pieces, it's going to look scrambly. And it did at points. And, Malik has done a pretty good job of running the show. I think he's still leading the team in assists this season. So he's definitely done a good job of orchestrating when De'Aaron's not out there. But, it just shouldn't have been that close. It just really shouldn't have been. It really shouldn't have been. Someone's still here, apparently. I just heard someone say "Let's go Kings," and it sounded like it was up in the 200s. Someone apparently is hiding out, trying to stay the night in the arena. Go out there and see the beat, man. Come on. Let's see here. Let's see. The putty shade. Excuse me. Yeah, Dre. Shout out Dre for doing the math here and averaging 31 points per game so far this year. That's pretty decent. If I check my math, that's pretty good. So shout out De'Aaron, who has had a great start to this season. Now it's time for me to do my 3 stars of the night. I did not do this on Friday because I'm an idiot and I forgot. But just a brief explainer in hockey. Not a hockey guy, but I know in hockey at the end of every game they give out 3 stars, and I believe it goes in ascending order. So 1 star goes to someone who had an okay or a good game, and then 3 stars goes to whoever had the best game. We're gonna give our 1 star tonight. And you know what? I'm gonna share both sides of the pool here. I'm gonna go Lakers and Kings, just because that feels the most fair. Let's give 2. We'll give 1 star to Malik Monk, who had 22 points. Again, did a really good job of closing out that game for Sacramento. Hit a couple triples, and was just really important in terms of bringing the ball down and setting up the team when De'Aaron wasn't out there, which was for a good helping of tonight with him in foul trouble. So shout out Malik, who's really steadying presence. He definitely had a couple head scratchers out there. That full court pass he tried to bounce to I think it was to Harrison Barnes on the fast break. Wasn't ideal, but you gotta deal with some head scratching Malik plays sometimes in order to get the great. And he did a really good job of just controlling the pace and taking over in that overtime period. So I'm gonna give my 1st star out to Malik Monk. My 2nd star, I gotta give it to AD. I really do. 30 and 16 tonight. He was 11 to 22 from the field. Was just incredible. 6 offensive rebounds, which matches the Kings as a team's total. He was a monster. Kings have no answer for a guy like AD. is curious because obviously if the Kings would have taken down the Warriors last year in the playoffs, they would have had to play a team. They would have had to play the Lakers, actually. They would have had to play the Lakers. And it would have been really interesting to kind of see how that matchup would have played out because AD obviously would have been a massive, massive figure in that series because the Kings just have no personnel that can go on AD, and he can really do whatever he wants when he's out there against the Kings. So got to give it to AD because without him, the Lakers really weren't close. Yeah, did a great job of getting to the line. I believe he led the Lakers in free throws. He did 7 of 8 from the line. And again, free throws were just massive for the Lakers in that first half, keeping them in the game as they weren't hitting shots. So got to give credit where credit is due. AD's a monster, especially when he's healthy like he is early so far this season. I got to tell you, the Lakers are not scaring me. Just watching them today, and I know there's a lot of hype around the players they brought in this offseason. I think they have some things that they need to figure out. I think it's too much D'Angelo Russell still. Again, the amount that they were relying on Taurean Prince, pretty interesting. I thought Gabe Vincent was going to be a really big signing for them. He's been okay, but he's nothing more than really a role player for them. When we saw him be a pretty big factor for the Miami Heat last year in their finals run. So it feels like Gabe Vincent's got a little bit more to offer this team. And it's just really surprising to me how much they're leaning on D'Lo, who frankly makes a lot of really, really bad mistakes. I thought tonight he took a couple threes that could have taken the Lakers out the game. And then, that turnover in the last minute there of overtime from LeBron on that inbounds pass it was partially LeBron's fault for sure, but D'Lo was he was not paying attention and forced a turnover, or got the turnover, I should say. And then my third star is going to be De'Aaron Fox because he's ridiculous. This is now back-to-back games where De'Aaron has just been head and shoulders the best player for the Sacramento Kings team. 37 tonight. Obviously dealt with the injury. He was knocking down his perimeter shot today, which is just a great thing to see for him. He's a completely different player when he's knocking down that perimeter shot. He was really only able to hit it in the first half, but finishes 3 of 8. I like the fact that he's not hesitating at all on those shots. You wouldn't think from watching De'Aaron Fox take those shots that he's not a good shooter. He's taking it with full confidence, and you love to see it. I mean, he might not be what's classified as a good shooter, but I think having that level of confidence in his shot is definitely a positive because we've seen him take and make some really, really clutch threes. And if he's able to just have unwavering confidence in that shot, you got to love it. You got to love it. And that's what makes him so clutch like he was tonight. Again, I think he had 12 points in that fourth quarter and was just toughing it out, just really toughing it out because there was a point for a majority of tonight. De'Aaron was the Kings' only scorer in double figures until that fourth quarter. He had 24, and I think the next highest had 8. So he was just clearly the Kings' best scoring option, and Lakers had no answer for him. D'Lo can't guard him. D'Lo is one of the worst defenders in the NBA, though he's trying to change his ways. And Gabe Vincent, though he is a physical defender, just can't stay in front of De'Aaron Fox. So De'Aaron, shout out De'Aaron, playing through the injury. Again, we don't know the extent, the severity of the injury, but the fact that he was able to check back in, I would say is a positive sign, but definitely not the end-all, be-all. Wouldn't surprise me if he misses Wednesday. Even then, that's still some time to recover, but with an ankle, you just never know. And, of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the fact that, of course, De'Aaron hurts his ankle immediately after signing this Curry brand deal. And, of course, Steph is notorious for hurting his ankle early in his career. So, that's pretty much it for me tonight. Don't know if anyone else has got anything to say here. It'll be interesting. I mean, 2-1 is obviously a great way to start the season. Would have loved to start 3-0, but I think we're seeing that this Kings team is right at the very least. They're right where we thought they would be, or where everyone thought they would be. They were able to take care of Utah. They were close with Golden State, and then ultimately Golden State pulled it out. but we're able to be competitive with them. And then for a large portion of tonight, we're really giving it to the Lakers before the game got close, and then was able to ultimately pull it out against the Lakers. So the good news is 2-1. And they're at the very least, they are in the pack of this Western Conference. Maybe haven't quite separated themselves like I would have hoped that they would have early in this season, but still can't argue with the results. 2-1 so far, and have an opportunity to make it up on Wednesday when they head to Chase Center to take on Golden State. Of course, again, time to see the Golden State Warriors, and I do believe Draymond Green will be active for that game. So we will be getting the Warriors hopefully at full strength because, obviously, a lot of people would love to see the Kings have an easy opportunity to get a win. But I think it's incredibly valuable just for also the moxie of this team. If they can take down a fully healthy Golden State team, I think it goes a really long way in getting this team's confidence back. And much like the playoff series, it did. I feel like the Kings should feel like they left something out there on Friday and they want to make up for it on Wednesday. So looking forward to that one. I don't think my current plan is to not go to that game. So I believe I'll be doing this post-game show from my house, but who knows? We'll see. We'll see how the week goes. But that will be on Wednesday. You can check that out again about 10 to 15 minutes after the conclusion of the ball game. It takes me some time to get set up, especially here to get down onto the floor. But you can check out our recap show following Wednesday's game in San Francisco. You can check me and Alan Stiles out tomorrow at 10 a.m. from 10 to 2. We'll definitely be talking about this Kings-Lakers game. We'll probably recap a little bit of Friday's game against Golden State. And then, of course, we got to talk about the 49ers losing their third straight game, heading into their bye week this week. Should be a lot of interesting stuff to talk about tomorrow. Tune in again tomorrow, 10 to 2 o'clock, Stiles and Watkins on Sactown Sports 1140. Hope everyone had a fantastic night. I got to go outside and check out this beam, y'all. This is the first home beam of the year. Everyone enjoy it. Get your pictures up. Enjoy the beam. Enjoy the night. Hope everyone had a great weekend. I will see y'all either tomorrow or I'll see you Wednesday. Again, Sacramento Kings pulled this one out here in Golden One Center. 132-127 victory over the Los Angeles Lakers in overtime. Things you love to see. Shout out De'Aaron Fox, and hopefully we have an update on him shortly. Y'all have a fantastic